Hello everyone, this is Luke again, Stickmaster Luke, and this is the second edition of How to Code Your Dragon in celebration of DreamWorks' latest movie, How to Train Your Dragon 2, which will be in theaters June 13th. So in this tutorial, in the last one we made him breathe fire, and in this one we're going to make him fly and follow you. So this is Toothless, the model. Here's a script where he makes a fireball and shoots it. So, in this main script, we're going to want him to fly. How do we do that? First of all, we're going to need a body position and a body gyro. So let's put those into the torso. Insert basic object. Oh, body position. Body gyro. Body position uses a force to tell this part where it should be. So we'll make this part float if it needs to, which will simulate flying. We just need to give it position at which it needs to be and update that position. And then gyro is for rotation, so we kind of like tell it where we want to. This one tells it where it wants to be, and this one tells it where it should be looking, how it should be, which way it should be facing. And so I just changed the torque on both of these to be about 400,000. It sounds like a large number. It is a large number, but for force and torque, they should both be 400,000 in XYZ, max force, max torque, and then they should both be under the torso. Okay, so we're gonna want to be calling these. So we got to make shortcuts for them and make sure they exist. Here's our torso. I like to keep my variable names all lowercase. It's just a preference. You can use capitalization however you like. Alright, body position, body gyro. So what we want to do, not make him breathe fire. Actually, he can continue breathing fire, it's cool. But only one, because we don't need all that. So, actually we're gonna make it update a lot more frequently. So we're gonna make it update at 0.1. So this is our loop, while true to loop. So it does whatever's in here. And so if we wait 0.1, it's gonna do this 10 times a second. And so we're going to update the position. We're going to be updating the body position 10 times a second to be where we want it to be. And where do we want it to be? We're going to want him to follow our character. So how do we do that? For testing, we're going to have it wait for our testing character, and then later we'll fill it in. So we're going to wait for player 1, and it's going to, whenever you do test solo, your player's name is called player 1, so that's why I put that here. Even if you look like your character, you're going to be player 1, and so we're going to be waiting for that player, and then we're going to follow it. We're actually going to also wait for his character and his torso. Actually, we'll do a check. So if you notice, I use find first childs inside of running code, and I do wait for child because this will stall. I usually do this at the top so that I wait for everything to load before actually trying to start running important stuff. And then I don't like to stall while I'm in the middle of running stuff, so I just do a find first child and then check to see if it's true. So I don't want to name this variable torso, so maybe I'll call it target torso. So he's going to be flying around this person's torso, which is hopefully going to be yours, player 1. And if the torso is true, then we're going to want it to fly above it. So body position dot position, that's the property name of the body position that we update right here. We're going to want to set that to target torso dot position, capital P for this one. It's kind of, actually the body position is weird how it has a lowercase. Most cases it's capital. So this is your torso, and it's going to be trying to move towards your torso, but then we also want it to be flying above you. So we're going to add 15 studs vertically. So there's going to be 15 studs above your character. And let's try it out. Yep, there he is. So you can see he like follows you already. So already we got him, you know, flying around. But he's not really. I mean, that's not pretty cool. It's cool. It's not as cool as it could be, right? Dragons soar and fly around. So we got to do that. We want him to fly around our character. How do we do this? We want to do a little math. Here's how this works. So we get a C-frame of the position because it's a C-frame. We're just making it a C-frame, a new C-frame with the position of the torso. This way it's a matrices that has a rotation element in it, so that we can rotate this. And then we're going to make it rotate around. We're going to make it soar in circles around your character. And so we're going to take tick, which is the timestamp. This can be a little bit complicated. If you copy it now and maybe mess with it, you can understand how it works, and I'll try to explain it now. We're going to take the tick, divide by 10, modulate by 1, and multiply that by 2 pi. So once every 10 seconds, pretty much that's what this is doing. It's going to go through 2 pi, which is a full rotation in radians. So yeah, it's going to circle around you once every 10 seconds. And I think that's good. Oh, I forgot to add the offset. So we just rotated it. Now we want to actually offset it by 15. So he's going to be 15 studs away from you horizontally and 15 studs above you, and circling once every 10 seconds. Let's try it out. Oh, we got an error. Position vector3 expected got user data. Body position dot position. Oh, so what happened here is all of this is a C-frame, and this thing is expecting just a position, just a vector3. So close our test, and here we want to do, to get the position of a C-frame, put them all inside of parentheses, and then dot .p. Dot .p is the position of a C-frame, just the position. And this stuff can be pretty confusing, but the more you work with it, the more you mess around with it, you'll quickly learn to understand it. Doesn't seem to be doing what we want it to do. Let's look at the code. Oh, I know what's wrong. The modulation by 1 is happening on this entire thing. I only want 1 to modulate this section. Nice! So we got him circling overhead. And so if I walk this way, he'll still try to follow me. It's pretty cool. Alright. But he's not facing the way that he's supposed to be. And that's where we use the body gyro. So we also want to set the body gyro. So like the body position, body gyro has a C-frame which defines its the direction that it looks. So we want to look in the direction that he's moving. So that's pretty simple. We just do torso, which is, if we scroll up, this is toothless's torso. Velocity unit. Yes. Oh no, we need to construct a new C-frame. Okay, when you construct a new C-frame like this, the first value is a vector 3, the next value is a vector 3. It creates a direction that looks towards the vector between these two. So let's try this out real quick. He should be looking in the direction that he's moving all the time. Oh, I did something wrong. Let's see. Oh, I spelled velocity wrong. And if when you're trying to code, you'll come up with a lot more typos than just, or a lot more errors that aren't just typos. Ooh, I can already see a shadow. Cool. So he's looking in the direction that he's moving. So even if I run this way, or if I run this way, he starts looking. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, so I was saying, when you're coding, you're going to come up with a lot more logic errors just because you are learning. And even I do when I'm coding new stuff. But I've got this stuff down pretty well. So now he's following you. Nice. But if we were to play a game, he wouldn't be following you. He'd be following player 1. So we want to make a tool that makes him and makes him follow you. So how do we do this? We're going to want to starter pack, make a new tool. Every tool needs a part in it called handle, so we're just going to make a new part. Where's part? Don't know my alphabet. Here we go, part. And this part has to be named handle. Alright, so we want this tool, when you click, it makes a new toothless for us. So let's start by assigning it. Alright, what are we going to want here? We're going to want to, on equipped, Equipped is a event for tools. So we're going to make a function for unequipped. So whenever the tool is equipped, it's going to call this function that I just made up, and here it is. And then inside here we're going to we get something called mouse. From unequipped, it gives you the player's mouse. Oh, speaking of which, this actually needs to be in a local script. Otherwise you don't get the mouse. So I copied the code, deleting script. I actually want to use something called a local script. Here it is. Paste in the code. Sorry. Yeah, you need to be using a local script, otherwise you can't get a player's mouse. So here we are back. So mouse dot. So we're creating right here, I'm doing something a little fancy. I'm creating a function inside of the connection call. So it'd be like making a function right here. I don't need to do this, I can make another function, but I just feel like doing this to show you how it works. So I just created a function right here inside this event. So the mouse, when the button 1 on the mouse is down, I think D is supposed to be capital. So whenever you click, left click, that's button 1, it's going to fire this function, connect this function, fire it. And so what we get is, well, not much. So what do we want to do here? We want to make a new toothless and spawn them for our character. How do we do this? One, we're going to want to put toothless into replicated storage. So here's our toothless in Explorer pane. I can cut and paste. So storage means that he's not in game, you can't see him, and he's not moving, and the scripts in him are not running, but you have access to him with this script, and so we're going to copy and paste him whenever we're going to clone him whenever we need to. So first we need to find our player. Because we're in a local script, only in a local script can you do this call right here. You can get your player in a local script by doing dot local player from players. So we're just making sure that your player exists. We're also going to want to make sure that your player has a character, and we're also going to want to debounce. Okay, and now what do we want to do? We're going to want to check to see if we've already made one, because we don't want to make two. You only want to click and make one. So we got to check to see if you already have one. How do we check to see if we already have one? We're going to make a new function. It's just for finding if there already is a toothless of yours that exists. So find toothless. I'm going to check through everything in workspace to make sure that one doesn't exist. Okay, so this is, it goes through, this is a for I comma v and I pairs. What this does is it iterates through a table, and we're making a table right here that is everything that is in workspace. Everything is directly under workspace, so we're going to check to see if we can find a toothless. V is, we're iterating through every object, so V is whatever object. First we want to make sure V exists, and then V dot Okay, so what's going to happen is whenever we call this function, so we're going to call it right here, so my toothless, forgotten S, equals find toothless. So what this does is it looks in workspace, and if one exists, it will return the toothless that it found, and if not, then it returns nothing. So here we're going to want to see if it found something. Actually, what we're going to want to do is actually check if he doesn't exist. So if he does exist, we'll probably make him shoot fire here later. And here we're going to want to create a new one. So if he does exist, he shoots fire. If he doesn't exist, let's make one. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to want to make a variable for local storage, or for server storage. Replicated storage, sorry. For replicated storage, we're going to want to make a variable. So this right here is a link to replicated storage, and what we do is we're making another variable called toothless template, and this is the one that's going to be in storage that we're going to be cloning if we don't have one. And so we wait for that to make sure it exists. And here we're just going to want to clone it. So local new toothless equals toothless template clone. So this is our new one. And we're putting him in workspace. Should be that easy. Oh, we're probably also going to want to make sure that he's on top of your character when he spawns, instead of far away. So I'm going to move to oh, we need to make a variable for your torso's position. So okay. There's my torso. If my torso, then gotta make sure that your torso exists. Move to my torso dot position. Plus a little bit of extra height. So whenever we make him, he's going to spawn above your torso. Let's try. So when we enter game, we should just have a tool. Oh, there it is, tool. Selected it. It's still just a giant brick. That's okay. I click. There was an error, but it made him. In the tool on line 35, when he tried to move to, I think I made a typo, but you can see here he's floating around, flying right when I clicked. I can't make another one, which is great because that's what the whole debounce was about. Oh, and also finding. Okay, so I made a typo right here. Forgot the 3.new. Now we're going to want to make him shoot at wherever we click. So whenever we click, we're going to want him to shoot. How do we do this? Well, we're going to put a variable inside of toothless, an object value. vector 3 value. So here we go. This is a vector 3 value, and we're going to name it aim at. Actually, we're going to call it shoot at. So we're going to want to, now this is the Toothless's script where that makes him fly. We're going to want him to shoot. Where do we make him shoot? So to do this, we're going to want to make sure this is above the while true do loop, because everything below the loop doesn't run. So we're going to listen to shoot at, and whenever its value changes, we're going to shoot at that location. So we're actually going to give this a position. We got to make a variable for look at or shoot at. Changed as an event that gets called. And we're going to want to breathe fire. Hook that up to breathe fire. Actually, we don't need this position. But in here, what we'll do is we want to make sure it shoots at. How do we do this actually? We're going to want him to look at. Actually, we're going to make a new function. Just called fire. Actually, no, we can't call it fire because we have some over here called fire. We're going to call this we can call it whatever we want. So I'm going to name it something silly. Fire away. Fire away. And that's what this is going to call. Why? Because we're going to make it do some cool stuff. Doing a for loop, so it's going to run 1 to 5 times. It's going to run 5 times. And it's going to breathe fire. So what happens is this is a loop that happens 5 times. So whenever the shoot at changes, it's going to breathe fire 5 times with a little bit of wait in between. So it's going to be like that's my dragon representation. And then we're also going to want to make a variable, we're just going to call it firing. And we're going to want to make it debounce. If not firing, then firing equals true, so that while it's shooting, it can't happen again. We're going to add a little cooldown. And this is actually going to be 0.2. So what happens is whenever this changes, shoot at, it's going to try running this fire away function, because we connected it right here. And it's going to breathe fire 5 times and then wait a second. And it's not, this function won't run twice at the same time because we put in a debounce called firing. And also what we're going to do here is when he is firing, we're going to want him to look at that position instead of looking at the position that he's flying to. So what happens here is if he is firing, we're going to make him look somewhere else. If he's not firing, he's looking where he's moving. So where is he going to look? We want to look at shoot at. Dot value. Shoot at dot value. So he's going to be looking at shoot at dot value. Actually, we got to do some vector math. Vector math, not too complicated. So we want to get my torso or Toothless's torso. Actually, shoot at minus. Let's see. Actually, what we can do, we don't even need to do vector math. We can just do this. This torso value up here in Toothless's main script is his torso. So torso is Toothless's torso. The first position is where the position starts, and then the next position is where it's looking at from this position. So this makes an angle at which he should be looking from his torso. So when he is firing, he's going to be looking at his target, and then when he's done firing, he goes back to flying in circles. Let's try it out. Actually, we forgot to actually set this look at. So in our tool script, let's actually name this tool script. Scroll down into my tool, local tool script, shoot fire right here. So what do we do here? We have our Toothless, and we want to change his look at, his shoot at value. So alright. If shoot at then, to make sure that shoot at exists, and then we're going to want to set shoot at dot value to the mouse dot hit dot p. So mouse was given to us from the onEquip function, and dot hit is a property of mouse that defines where in 3D space the mouse is pointing at, and as a C-frame, and so we get the position of the C-frame. So whenever we click and we don't have a Toothless, it's going to tell us to make a new one, and if we do have a Toothless, it's going to tell that Toothless to shoot at this location. Let's try it out. Alright, here's our tool. I click and made a Toothless, and I click again. Uh-oh, doesn't seem to be working. So let's see if we can figure out why. Go to Toothless, shoot at. The value does not seem to be changing, so it must not be finding. Oh, I spelled Toothless wrong. I made a weird typo. Right there. Let's try it again. Here's our Toothless. After I clicked once, he spawned, and I'm going to click again. Ah, still not working. Let's see if the value's been updated. Nope, not being updated still. Let's see if we can figure out why. Shoot at is find first child shoot at inside of my Toothless. My Toothless, my Toothless, my Toothless. Maybe it's not finding him. So we're going to set up some print statements. This is why we have the output, so we can print out some stuff. So what we're doing is we're making print statements after each if line to see where it stops. So I think it's stopping around here. Oh, I know what's wrong. Our debounce. We never made it. We only made it so you can only click once. There. Oops, true. Let me make this true. Okay. So what happened was I'd click it the first time and it'd set debounce to false, and then it'd never let me get to past this check line again. Like it'd run through here once and make it, and then end. And then next time I'd click, it would get up to here and debounce would be false. So I'd never get to fire. So it should fire. Now, this is the third time I said this, so we'll see. Oh man, he's breathing fire. There you go. So if I click on myself, his fire seems to be just a little bit short. He'd almost hit me. So what we want to do is in his main script, in the toothless's main script, we're going to make it shoot a little bit higher than whatever we tell it to shoot at. So we're just going to give it a little bit of extra up velocity. There he is. Oh man, he just shot me. So here it is. You click somewhere and it'll breathe fire all over it. If I click right here. Oh, I know one thing that we need to do. To make him a little bit more responsive, what you're going to want to do is change a value inside the humanoid. It's called platform Santa true. Let me see if this works. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. That's pretty cool though. Alright, so one problem that we have is that in Toothless main script we're strictly defining the player that Toothless belongs to. So we're going to want to change that to whoever spawns him owns him. So we're going to get rid of this. Actually, we're going to make an object, literally an object value, into, let's see, where's object value? Object value right here. Put one of these into Toothless. We're going to name this creator. And in here, we're going to wait for this creator tag, and after that, down here, we're going to we're going to need a function that does find owner. So we're going to need if creator exists and creator.value and creator.value.parent is equal to game.players and creator.value.character. It's a pretty big if statement. Alright, so this function right here, if we call this, it will see if there's a creator value, see if the creator value has an actual value, if the value dot parent is equal to game dot players, and if the value dot character exists. So if the value is going to be the player itself. If the player has a character, then we want to return a torso if it has one. And then in here, on this line, we can just do this. Get rid of these and put, actually we can get rid of one of these whole lines. Target torso equals find owner. Get rid of that if statement, get rid of that if statement. Bring these all down. So this will find the target torso, and if target torso doesn't exist, then we're going to let's see. Actually, we can do some cool stuff. So what I'm doing here is if we can find the torso, the target torso, which is the guy that we should be following. That's what target is. It's the guy that you're following. And your own humanoid. That's Toothless's humanoid. If his humanoid has more than 0 HP. So if he has less than HP, or that he doesn't have an owner, then it does a break. See, both of these have to be true, and if either one of them is false, then it does this else, and it breaks it. And break means that it breaks out of this loop. So this loop stops, and then it continues on line 80 and down. So we're going to want to actually put down here okay, so what happens is if we can't find an owner or we don't have enough HP, we're going to kill ourselves or kill Toothless, and then wait 5 seconds and then remove him. Oops. Yes, so this is if he dies, it waits 10 seconds and then gets rid of him. Or if he doesn't know who to follow, then it waits 5 seconds and gets rid of him. Now we just gotta make sure he knows who made him. So we gotta define the creator tag when we make him. So here's where we make him. We're gonna want to wait for child for a creator tag. We don't need to do an if statement because we did wait for child. So we make the creator, oops, spell value wrong right there. We wait for the creator tag inside Toothless and then set its value to player. So whoever spawns this guy tells it that it's the owner, that it's the creator. This way it will, you'll be able to play with your friends, and your friends will all be able to have a Toothless of their own in the same game. Uh-oh, looks like we broke him. What did I do? So he wasn't moving, so that means it's probably waiting for child. Oh, here we go. This is capitalized. That was supposed to be lowercase. That was a quick find, actually. Test it real quick again. Oh, humanoid and no value on line 69 of Toothless. Toothless main script. line 69. 69. Humanoid.health. Oh, I never defined humanoid. Alright. I thought I made a variable for the humanoid. There is now. Alright. Here he is. So I click somewhere, he breathes fire all over wherever I click. And he always looks at the direction that he's moving in, unless he's breathing fire. It's pretty sweet, actually. And you could make him breathe a lot more fire. You could make him shoot the fire out a lot quicker. You can make him do a lot of cool stuff. But this is how you make him fly, how you make a dragon, how you create a dragon, how you make him fly, and how you make him breathe fire at your opponents. I think that concludes most of this tutorial. It's all done. Go out there, try it yourself. You'll probably run into a few errors out there. I believe in you. I think you can figure it out. Good luck, and I'll see you guys next time. Maybe I'll see you guys in the theater of How to Train Your Dragon 2, which will be in theaters June 13th. DreamWorks. Definitely gonna go see it. Have fun out there.